Hello everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to the online classes. On the campus, we were discussing uh, we were discussing a few terms in pedagogical grammar course, that is perfective is perfect, and we also discussed in our last lectures perfective is imperfective, etc. And we also uh, discussed tree diagrams as well. So today we will extend our topic further with this perfective is imperfective thing. And as we have already discussed in the class, that perfective is such a thing when there is a single act, when there is a single act which is almost a complete act, right? uh, and imperfective is such an act which is not complete in its totality. For example, in this case, I promise to be back for lunch. Here, this is perfective because this promise has been completed. You can say that there is a single act of promising which is performed by uttering the sentence, right? This promise is a single act. So we are performing this single act by uttering the promise, by uttering the sentence. So this act of promising and the uttering of the sentence uh, is occupies a brief period of time. So a brief period of time, maybe for a second, for 2 seconds, it may occupy 3 seconds, or maybe 4 or 5 seconds, right? Whatever it takes. So it does mean that it has been completed. This action has been completed. This act of promising is a complete act. So that's why we call it perfective. And here in the second sentence, Sue mows the lawn. So this sentence is imperfective. Why? Because uh, in this sentence, the act of mowing the lawn at the time of speaking, uh, this we just refer to the uh, we just refer to the time when Sue is mowing the lawn, right? So it is much longer to mow a lawn than to utter a sentence, right? So this mows the lawn does mean this action is not completed here. We do not know for how long Sue mows the lawn, right? So we can say that the present time cannot be the time of situation considered as a totality. So this action in its totality is not complete. So we cannot call it perfective sentence. We will call it imperfective because here the act of mowing, or the act of mowing is not completed. We do not know for how long this act remained, this action remained. Imperfect. We take the sentence to describe a state of affairs where Sue regularly or habitually mows the lawn. So we also discussed this example in our uh, 30B section as well when we were taking the class on the campus. Next heading is future time with the futurate. As we know that future time is not always expressed in the future form with the help of future helping verb. We can also express this future time or future tense with the help of present tense as well, with the help of present verbs as well. For example, here, the next high tide is at 4 o'clock. The sun rises tomorrow at 6:10. Exam starts new week next week. We arrive home 2 days before Easter. So in all these examples, first of all, you can see the time expression, or you can see that time adjunct at the end of all these four sentences. At 4 o'clock is a preposition, is the prepositional phrase, or you can say time adjunct here, and at 6:10 is a time adjunct here or a prepositional phrase, um, or you can also call it time, simply a time adjunct. Same is the case with here, next week, before Easter. All right, these phrases at the end of all these four tenses sentences can be called as time adjunct. And if you see at the verbs here, is, rises, start, and arrive, these are present verbs, but they show future tense, right? They show future time. For example, here, start shows next week, right? Exam start next week. We are not writing exam will start next week. We simply write exam start. So it shows the future tense. Why? Because here we have added a time adjunct, so which also covers the start as well. So with the help of time adjunct we can use present tense which will show future tense. यानी हम time adjunct use करके future tense express कर सकते हैं. Recurrent events in nature whose time can be calculated scientifically as in one. So in these examples, we can say that there are recurrent events in nature uh, whose time can be calculated scientifically in first two sentences. Whereas in next two sentences, events that are arranged or scheduled in advance. So these events have already been arranged in advance, right? So these two examples show the events which have already been scheduled or arranged. Next heading is future time. Uh, Future time used with subordinate clauses. Here we will show future time with help of subordinate clauses, right? The present tense is used with future time reference without the above restrictions in certain types of subordinate clauses. So here present time will be used, present tense will be used with present tense will be used and which will refer to as future time, right? Please bring the washing in if it rains. In this example, please bring the washing in if it rains. We are using present tense here, it rains. With the help of this, if it rains is a subordinate clause. Because of if, it rains becomes a subordinate clause. So this rains in is a verb in subordinate clause. This rains, you can say, is a present tense, is a present verb in a subordinate clause, but it shows the future time. Please bring the washing in if it rains. So if it rains refers to future, right? If it rains indicates the future time, but we are using present tense. And the present tense is showing future tense. The present tense is showing future time. यानी present tense use करके आप future को सामने ला रहे हैं, future की तरफ refer कर रहे हैं. Same is the case in the next example. In the second one, I will give it to you before I leave. Before I leave, here it is a subordinate clause, and leave is a present tense, but it shows future time. Same is the case with the third one. I hope you are feeling better soon. You are feeling better soon after hope. When you are using this phrase after hope, this clause after hope, so it becomes a subordinate clause. Does mean it depends upon the other clause. So are is the present tense, but it indicates, it tells us about the future time. Next heading is past time, the historic present. So here, what are you doing? You are using past time, but you are you are showing past time with the help of present tense. In certain types of narrative, especially in informal style, the present tense is used instead of the present for the past time events. Sometimes you can use present tense in informal situation, in informal style. You instead of using the past tense, you use present tense, but that present tense shows past tense or the present form or the present tense, even in discourses that have begun in pattern as well. So you can use present tense, which will actually be used instead of past tense. But that present tense will be showing past tense. यानी हमने तीन तरह से यूज किए. प्रेजेंट टेंस फ्यूचर को भी बता रहा था. प्रेजेंट टेंस यहाँ पे सबऑर्डिनेट क्लास में जब यूज होता है तो भी फ्यूचर का बताता है. और यहाँ पे जब प्रेजेंट टेंस हम यूज करते हैं तो ये पास्ट टेंस की जगह यूज कर रहे होते हैं. वो पास्ट टेंस के ही बारे में एक्चुअली हम बात कर रहे होते हैं, लेकिन प्रेजेंट टेंस यूज करते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, I was I was waiting at the bus stop when this guy drives up. Right here, we are using present tense, but we can also use past tense. Right, this present tense actually uh, points out the past tense. This present tense can also be replaced with the past tense. Here and here and here. You can read it on your own. Next heading is the preterite. The preterite does mean the past. Here, past time, I promise to be back for lunch is perfective su move the line is imperfective or perfective. Perfective and imperfective have already been discussed, right? We also discussed these terms when we were taking the classes on the campus. We discussed these terms in detail in the classroom. So we have also actually revised these terms at the start of today's lecture as well. So here I promise to be back for lunch is perfective because action is complete, right? The act of promising is complete. It took maybe a second or two or three or four to promise. So this is a complete act. That's why this is perfective. So more the lawn can be used both as perfective and imperfective. Why? Because sum of the line is more, if we take it as a complete action, that is as a second form, more the line, so more the lawn. So if we take it, if we consider it as a complete action, so it will be perfective. So if we consider it as a process, so more the lawn. So as a process which started sometime in the past, and and stayed sometime in the present, and maybe would probably stay for some time in future as well. यानी एक ऐसा एक्शन जो प्रोसेस है पूरा, जो शुरू हुआ था, अभी रहा है, और मे बी फ्यूचर में कुछ ऐसा स्टे करे, तो इन दैट केस इट वुड बी इम्परफेक्टिव. यानी ये दोनों तरह यूज हो सकता है पास्ट टेंस. इट कैन बी परफेक्टिव, इट कैन बी इम्परफेक्टिव. और यू कैन आल्सो रेफर बैक टू 31.2, यानी ऊपर 31.2 सेक्शन की तरफ यू कैन आल्सो लुक. You can also go back to the book and you can also check out the examples given in 31 section and section number 35 as well. Next heading is modal remoteness. Actually, this modal verb or these modal verbs uh, tell us the mood in a sentence, right? It tell us the situation described in a class. All right. These modal verbs do not present facts, but uh, actually you can say that they only tell us the mood in a sentence, and they also give us some, uh, you can say, some modally remote possibilities. All right. So they do not deal with tense, they only deal with mood, and they also actually present some situation in varying degrees which are more modally remote. Here, look at the examples. Present tense and the modal pattern. Present tense are given here, and the modal pattern has been modal past are given on the right side. I'm glad they live nearby. And on the contrary, here we see I wish they lived nearby. So these two are kind of, they give contrasting meanings, right? I'm glad they live nearby and I wish they live nearby. So they give contrasting meaning, that is glad and wish. So from 1a we can see that uh, they in fact live nearby, right? They do in fact live nearby. वो यानी सच में वहां पे रहते हैं या रहे हैं. And from this example we can get that they do not live nearby. So uh, that's why when we say that I wish they lived nearby, so here we are wishing for someone which has not happened, which is not even real, right? we just wishing for we just wished for someone. So we can say that when we say that they live nearby and we are using wish, so this is uh, this is contrary to the fact, this is opposite to the fact. And this is the highest degree of model remoteness. This is also given here in 1b. We can see that the highest degree of model remoteness, right? So let us look at example number 2. I hope she arrives tomorrow. and and second b, I would rather she arrive tomorrow. So here we see that a lesser degree of model remoteness in 2a and 2b, right? In 2b especially. I hope she arrives tomorrow is okay, right? Here you are hoping for someone and this is present tense, and which shows future tense. But here I would rather she arrive tomorrow. So this is, there is a lesser degree of model remoteness. And in 1b, this is the highest degree of model remoteness. Why? Because in this, I would rather she arrive tomorrow. Here in this sentence, this does not imply that she definitely will not arrive tomorrow, right? But it suggests that it may well be that she will not. Perhaps I'm proposing a change to current arrangements where she is arriving and at some other time, right? So here we are not sure about something. We we do not know that she will definitely arrive tomorrow. All right, we are suggesting that she may or she may not arrive tomorrow. All right, we are just proposing a change in current arrangements. So that's why this is a lesser degree of model remoteness in this case. In second b, let's discuss uh, third A and third B. If he loves her, he will change his job. If he loved her, he would change his job. And fourth is the same one. If you leave now, you will miss the rush hour. If you left now, you would miss the rush hour traffic. Here it does mean if you are using this is conditional one. If you have read conditional sentences in your um, English one course, you must know what is conditional one, two, three are condition are zero conditional. So this is conditional one. It does mean when you use present tense in the if clause, you will use future tense in the next clause, in the main clause. And if you use past tense in the if clause, you would use past. You would use would or should, or you can say conditional form in the next main clause. Same as the case here. If you're using present tense in the if class, you will use future tense here, will in the main class. And here, if you use past tense in the if class, you will use would, should, could, might, etc. Or you can say you will use conditional in the main class. In example 3 and 4, there is one case which need to be actually understood. These example 3a and 4a are open. You can say open conditional or open construction. And example number 3b and 4b give us close expression, or you can say sorry, a remote expression, a remote construction. Why? Because here in example 3 you can see that this is open type and this is open type construction. Open type construction does mean the open type characteristically leaves it open as to whether the condition is or will be fulfilled. For example, uh, if he loves her, he will change his job. If he leave now, you will miss the train, rush hour traffic. For example, this is open construction, right? There is no remote construction, no remote possibility. All right. Whereas in third B and third and fourth B, there is a remote construction. For example, uh, if he loved her, he would change his job. We say that if he loved her, it does mean he didn't love her. If he loved her, he would change his job. But he did not love her, so he did not change his job. So this is remote construction. यानी उसने love ही नहीं किया तो job ही नहीं change की. So we are basing our argument on the base of if. Does mean if he loved her. So as he didn't love her, so he didn't change his job. So same is the case here. If you left now, you would miss the rush or traffic. So if you left now, but you didn't leave now, so it does mean you didn't miss the rush hour traffic. So this is all about today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will discuss some more things. If you have any question from today's lecture, please do ask in the comments below. Thank you so much.